Become a millionaire. How compound interest changes everything. The phenomenon of compound interest and how to take advantage of it. Have you ever wondered why some millionaires have so much money, but you rarely see them working to get it? You might be worried about not having enough savings for your children's education or for retirement. You want to get out of the 9-to-5 work routine and become financially independent by age 40. In today's video, we reveal the secret methods and strategies that rich people have passed down from generation to generation. Interestingly, most people don't know how to do it. But first, let me tell you an old story about a king and his subjects. Once upon a time, there was a very powerful king who ruled over a vast territory. His kingdom was so vast that it stretched as far as the eye could see, and some said it would take months to ride from one end to the other on horseback. His wealth and possessions seemed endless. This king loved games and, after playing every type of game available at the time, he challenged his subjects to invent a game that could impress him. A few weeks later, a man visited the king's palace and asked for an audience to show him a game he had just invented. The game was called chess, and it was a strategy game. The king was very impressed by the new game and said to the man, "My desire is simple, Your Majesty. Put 1 grain of rice on the first square of the chessboard and double it on the next square." At first the king was reluctant because he wanted to give the man a greater reward for his invention, perhaps a piece of gold, but in the end he agreed to give the man exactly what he wanted. By the king's order, the treasurer began to calculate the amount of rice to give to the inventor. The treasurer put 1 grain of rice on the first square, 2 on the second, 4 on the third, and so on. When he reached the 10th square, he had to put 512 grains of rice. By the 20th square, the number had risen to 524,288 grains. In the middle of the board, the number had reached 2,147,483,648 grains, or about 2,150 million grains. When the treasurer reached the last square of the chessboard, he realized that the king owed the inventor about 9.2 trillion grains of rice. The figure was so high that the king was forced to abdicate and hand over his throne to this wise man in order to keep his promise. This story illustrates the power of compound interest calculation, sometimes called the 8th wonder of the world. The power of compound interest must not be underestimated. The rich are well aware of the magic of compound interest. That's why you rarely see them working 9 to 5 and spending their precious time on overtime. Instead, they use the power of compound interest to make money work for them. If you haven't yet figured out how the rich get their money to work for them, let me explain. They make investments that appreciate over time thanks to compound interest. To illustrate this concept, let's take Jack, who is now 25 years old and has $1,000 in savings. He can realistically earn an annual return of 8.14% on his investments. Since the average annual return of the MSCI World Index is 8.7%, Jack would earn $1,500 if he put his savings into an index fund. This way, the initial $1,000 investment grows over time. When Jack turns 65 and retires, the $1,000 has grown to $21,725. Considering Jack invested $1,000 just once, that's a huge amount. A return of over 2,000%. In other words, his investment grew 20 times over. Someone might think $21,000 is a good return. But even though $21,725 is a nice amount to have at age 65, that money won't last long and will run out quickly, especially since he only invested $1,000. You can take 1 or 2 luxury vacations, but you can't stop working 9 to 5. So the question is, how can you or Jack take advantage of the magic of compound interest and become millionaires? Let's consider the example of Jill, who studied finance at a renowned economics school. She learned the power of compound interest and how to use it to achieve her goals and dreams. After graduating, she gets a job paying $4,000 a month. She always saves $1,000 a month and invests it in the same index fund as Jack. Jill is 22 years old and intends to invest regularly every month until retirement at 65. Don't doubt that she'll become a millionaire. Let's assume an 8.7% annual return and see how her investment plays out. If she sticks to her investment strategy of putting $1,000 a month into an index fund, she could become a millionaire by age 47. Yes, that's right. By investing just $1,000 a month, she'll reach millionaire status within 25 years of her initial investment. If she keeps investing $1,000 a month, she can accumulate another $4.68 million over the next 18 years until retirement at age 65. So by age 65, Jill's investment will reach the astronomical figure of $5.68 million, more than enough for a happy retirement. In conclusion, if you're under 25, one of the biggest advantages you have is that you can take full advantage of the compound interest effect. Time is your greatest ally in the fight for financial freedom. Start saving regularly from a young age. This way, your portfolio will have the time it needs to mature. Watch out! Thanks to the power of compound interest, time is the most important variable in favor of a young investor. Start investing a small part of your income in compound interest and keep doing it for at least 10 years. At the end of this decade, you'll find you no longer need to save. By age 35, you'll already be rich and earning great returns from your portfolio, while all your friends will be struggling to make ends meet. We would like to know about your experience regarding the topic covered today. Share it with us in the comments, and, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask them. We will gladly respond. Your like would be a source of satisfaction for us, and of course, do not forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming publications.